This is CBN NewsWatch.
Thanks for joining us for this first edition of CBN NewsWatch for Friday, August 30th. I'm Mark Martin. Hurricane Dorian is spiraling towards the Florida coast. President Trump warns it looks like a monster. And as Jennifer Wishon reports, CBN's Operation Blessing is hunkering down to be ready after the damage is done.
Here it is, Hurricane Dorian moving slowly over open, warm water that's fueling her strength as she swirls towards Florida. By the time she strikes Monday, Dorian could be a Category 4 storm, packing winds of 130 miles per hour.
Slow is never our friend. So what that means is you'll have a longer period of time where you can get some of those hurricane force winds, a longer period of time that you can get the rainfall, torrential rainfall.
The National Hurricane Center is getting real-time data from NOAA's hurricane hunters.
We have 2 planes flying 24-hour operations into, around, and through these hurricanes.
Now it's looking like it could be an absolute monster.
President Trump canceled his scheduled trip to Poland this weekend to monitor the storm. He assures the federal government is pre-positioning and ready to respond.
All indications are it's going to hit very hard, and it's going to be very big.
In Florida, a rush to board up and get supplies. An exercise in patience and frustration as some gas stations run out of fuel.
You never know. You have no idea what you're going to get through.
CBN's Operation Blessing U.S. disaster team is deploying to Central Florida today. A team of volunteers taking a generator-powered shower trailer, 35-foot truck full of food and disaster relief supplies, and a work order trailer with gear to serve impacted communities.
We actually have supplies that volunteers can just show up with the shirts on their back and go out and serve the community.
He's praying the storm turns away, but if it does hit, Operation Blessing is prepared to stay and serve impacted communities for months if needed.
Overall mission is to end human suffering down there in the disaster-related area. And how we do that is by setting up distribution centers that have non-perishable items along with hygiene products and cleaning supplies to hand out to the community. Not only that, but we offer free hot meals.
For so many, this holiday weekend will be used to prepare and brace for the worst. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News.
And we have the latest now on Dorian from AccuWeather's Justin Polvik.
Hurricane Dorian strengthened overnight to a Category 2, movement off to the north and the west. And as we go through the day, further intensification is expected. We've been talking about some wind shear. A southwesterly wind shear inhibiting rapid intensification so far today, but this is going to be backing off, unfortunately, later on. Drier air also feeding into the storm will be scoured out. Now, we are looking at hurricane watches up from Great Abaco and Freeport South to Nassau and Andros as we talk about the worst of the impacts throughout the Bahamas Saturday night to Sunday with wind damage potential and flash flooding and dangerous surf. The main concern today, building seas, again, as Dorian makes its move north and west. Here's the beginning of the tropical storm force winds. Those stirred up Sunday over the Bahamas, more so Sunday night into Monday, east coast of Florida. And here we could be talking about feet of rain, up to 2 feet of rain. So dangerous flash flooding a concern. Down the road, we'll have to watch jet stream dip south. So again, as Dorian feels the influence of this perhaps a little earlier, that could have a motion more off toward the north. Later would take this more toward the west, intensifying again to a major hurricane Category 4, and the AccuWeather real impact scale for hurricanes here for the U.S. mainland, a 4 as well. Extreme risk to lives and property. Severe long-lasting flooding from coast to inland. So again, we're going to be talking about this as we work our way into early week.
Definitely be praying. Well, in other news, the Justice Department does not plan to prosecute former FBI Director James Comey, even though a new report says he broke Bureau protocol when he handed over a memo about his private conversations with the president to a friend, with instructions to pass it along to the media. The memo included the president's request that Comey not investigate former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. The day after that news became public, Robert Mueller was appointed special prosecutor. Hong Kong police arrested several prominent pro-democracy leaders this morning. Two of them, Joshua Wong and Agnes Chow, were taken into custody in connection for their role in a protest outside a police station. Wong is a well-known Christian who's served both are now out on bail. This as Hong Kong police refused permission for a Saturday rally, which was expected to be one of the largest in months of demonstrations. Israel took a rare step and released previously classified information about how Iran is trying to transform Hezbollah's missile program. The intelligence shows how deeply Iran was involved in a project to destroy the Jewish state. CBN's Chris Mitchell has the story of what is really a shadow war between Israel and Iran.
These Lebanese soldiers are shooting at what they claim are Israeli reconnaissance drones violating Lebanese airspace. While on the other side of the border, the IDF remains on high alert, and Israeli troops have created some closed military zones. Two recent examples that a shadow war between Iran, its Middle East proxies, and Israel has come out into the open.
We are now seeing a situation in which a kind of regional conflict involving a whole series of Iranian proxies and allies, including Hezbollah, all of which threaten Israel, are basically on the brink of what could be a bad misstep for either side and could bring the region to another conflict.
Recently, Israel stopped an Iranian-led attack against the Golan Heights with killer drones. Hezbollah claims Israeli drones attacked their Beirut headquarters. And U.S. sources confirmed Israel has also attacked Shiite militias in Iraq.
And some of their warehouses have mysteriously blown up. The whole piece of the puzzle that we have to understand is that this is all part of a kind of Iranian land bridge that starts in Tehran and goes through Iraq to Syria to Lebanon.
We're challenged on three fronts, and Israel has all the right in the world to defend itself, and we will.
Former Jerusalem Mayor Nir Barkat and current prominent member of Prime Minister Netanyahu's Likud party says Israel is fighting for its survival.
It's very clear that Iran, that their goal is to destroy the state of Israel, the radical Islam. They're using their proxies in Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and many of the regimes, the Shiite regimes in Syria, to create infrastructure and to prepare to strike on Israel.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah to calm down. Barkat says Nasrallah should be careful.
If they start and initiate a round of violence, Israel will make sure that violence does not pay, and they will pay a heavy, heavy price. And I think Nasrallah knows that very, very well.
Chris Mitchell, our Middle East Bureau Chief, joins us now with more. Welcome, Chris.
Welcome, Mark. Good to be with you.
Tell us more about these precision-guided missiles and why are they so dangerous?
Well, they're so dangerous, Mark, because Iran has been trying for several years to try to get precision-guided missiles into Lebanon, and they haven't been able to do that because Israel keeps hitting them, whether they're coming over land in Syria. Even now, they're hitting them in Iraq. So they haven't been able to. So for the last couple of years, what Iran is doing, they've sent senior Iranian military officers into Beirut and Lebanon, and they're trying to take Hezbollah's massive arsenal, about 130,000 rockets, transform these sort of dumb rockets that really aren't very accurate, transforming them into precision-guided missiles that can hit within several yards of a target. This would be a game changer for Israel. Now, when you consider that in 2006, Hezbollah had about 14,000 rockets. Now it's estimated they have maybe 130,000 rockets. So if you take those and make them the precision-guided, it poses a really serious, perhaps existential threat to the state of Israel.
Chris, what happened in 2006, and why are people seeing that as an example of what could happen now?
Well, Mark, what happened in 2006 is that there was an Israeli patrol on the Lebanese-Israeli border that was ambushed by Hezbollah. A couple of soldiers were kidnapped, several were killed, And now that incident just on the border led to one of Israel's longest wars. It was 34 days. And so a lot of people are looking back to that. That was 13 years ago, just about this month, when this long-running war started, just by that one incident. So what they're saying is that right now, a similar incident, the tensions are so high between Iran, Hezbollah, Israel, and all of its proxies here in the region, that kind of an incident could blow up to a regional war. And as we've said, that the deputy leader of Hezbollah has said they want to have a calculated strike to retaliate against what Israel did in Beirut. But these kind of calculated strikes are not an exact science. So, you know, what they hope would be a low-level retaliation could really expand into a regional war. That's why people are looking back to 2006, and that's why they're very concerned about what may happen here in the region.
Tell us what you have planned for this week's Jerusalem Dateline, Chris.
Well, for this week's Jerusalem Dateline, we'll have an update on what's happening here in the Middle East. We'll also have an interesting story about an Iranian American who we interviewed here in our studio, who really actually was born before the Iranian Revolution. He has a fascinating story of what it was like before the Iranian Revolution, what it's like now, and also his first visit to Israel. And like many people who come to Israel for the first time, it really wasn't the kind of perception that he had. It was very friendly. People were gracious. People were speaking to him in Farsi. Had a great time. We'll also have a really groundbreaking story on what many people may not know is the Jerusalem Prayer Breakfast. They met at The Hague. The Hague is the sort of the world court, and sort of was a collision between what the world expects the law of man to come out of The Hague. But they were saying the law of the Lord comes out of here, Zion. Just one of the stories that we're going to have from here in Jerusalem Dateline this week.
All right, Chris, thanks so much. Thanks for all the work that you guys do there in Israel. We appreciate it. And once again, Jerusalem Dateline is on the CBN News Channel tonight at 9:30 Eastern. Coming up, as parts of the massive Amazon fire burns, what could be the impact? We'll talk with an expert to find out.
It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
Young people, millennials, are flocking to church.
It's not an exaggeration to say that we love to meet them and that we love to know their stories.
Come home to the Southern Gospel Station from CBN Radio. You'll enjoy a rich Southern blend of bluegrass, classic gospel, and Southern gospel favorites. CBN Southern Gospel. Available now at cbnradio.com.
Woohoo! Hi, Superbook fans. Here's something else you'll love. It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
Millsburg Falls man, come with...
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me. Ouch!
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes, too. And so much more! Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon! It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
Welcome back. Brazil banned most legal fires for land clearing for 60 days in an attempt to stop the burning that has devastated parts of the Amazon region. Meanwhile, wildfires continue to rage in the world's largest tropical rainforest. World leaders have urged Brazil to take action against the fires, which some have called an international crisis. 7 nations pledged $20 million at last week's G7 summit to help handle the fires. CBN's Wendy Griffith spoke about the impact of the fires with Dr. Hugh Ross with Reasons to Believe, an educational institute that promotes science and faith.
Well, Dr. Ross, how worried should we be about the impact of the fires in the Amazon?
Well, we should be worried. Right now, about 3 football fields a minute are being burned up in the Amazon. If that continues, we're looking at a real catastrophe. However, those fires are put out quickly, I think we can recover.
Some scientists say the fires are pushing the rainforest to a tipping point and will hasten global climate change. Do you agree with that?
Well, the real worry is that the jungle could be converted to a savanna. And if that happens, it's going to be almost impossible to bring it back to a jungle again. And if it's a savanna, rainfall is going to drop catastrophically. Moreover, you're not going to have as much oxygen produced or carbon dioxide taken to the atmosphere. So that's the real concern. If steps can be taken to prevent it from turning into a savanna, that would be good news.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, many of these fires are set to make room for agriculture or other development. Should the rainforests be left alone and not cleared for these uses?
Well, I wrote an article on our Reasons.org website recently making the point that the best way to manage the Amazon economically is to cut down the virgin trees and replace them with new growth trees, because research shows that there's a window of time when trees are growing most rapidly, and that's when they produce the most oxygen and take the most carbon dioxide of the atmosphere. And if you do the lumbering in the right way, you get a significant income source for the people there, while at the same time doing the best that you can do to stabilize the climate. That would be the way to go.
Interesting. Well, the Amazon is a jungle, basically. If left alone after a fire or a blaze like we're seeing now, how long will it take for the forest to come back?
It all depends how much is burned. I mean, again, that's why these 7 nations are saying we need to jump on this now, get these fires under control, stop people from starting new fires, because the longer we let these fires burn, the greater time it's going to take for the jungle to recover. And if too much burns, it's not going to recover ever.
So is it true 20% of the world's oxygen is generated in the Amazon, and right now we're burning oxygen, basically?
Yes, we are. And the bigger concern is that the Amazon also is a prime system for removing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and that's a greenhouse gas. And so if the Amazon jungle gets destroyed or converted to a savanna, we're going to see significantly more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere.
All right, Dr. Hugh Ross, with Reasons to Believe, thanks for your insights, and I guess this is a matter for prayer as well as science today.
It is indeed.
Still ahead, as the Democrat Party embraces more ideas of socialism, a closer look at what it is and what it could mean for America.
Are you suffering from feeling tired or worn out during the day? Can you not turn off your brain at night? You are not alone. Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Bruce, the Sleep Doctor, and I've partnered with the Christian Broadcasting Network, and we're going to bring you some unbelievable information that you can use tonight to get a better night's rest.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free copy of Protect Your Sleep today.
If you want to be an attorney with a passion for serving people and for excellence, Regent University needs to be high on your list.
Regent's award-winning law school doesn't just create lawyers. We create leaders, judges, prosecutors and defense lawyers, civil litigators, and leaders in government.
My focus has been trying to really make sure we have the future leaders we need for the bench and the bar and for society generally.
You'll learn from highly credentialed leaders who are current and former judges, distinguished scholars, and ACLJ counsel.
I'm so glad I chose Regent. The relationships here have been amazing. The faculty have been amazing. Not everybody's called to the same thing when they leave law school, but they're called by God who has a purpose for their lives, and He is going to use that education to make a difference in the world.
Regent will prepare you to be a purpose-driven, practice-ready lawyer. To start your rewarding law career, complete the online application, submit your transcripts, and take the law school admissions test by July. Apply today.
If you want to be an attorney with a passion for serving people and for excellence, Regent University needs to be high on your list.
Regent's award-winning law school doesn't just create lawyers. We create leaders, judges, prosecutors and defense lawyers, civil litigators, and leaders in government. Ready to become a purpose-driven, practice-ready lawyer? To start your rewarding career, complete the online application, submit your transcripts, and take the law school admissions test by July.
Thanks for staying with us. With another Democratic debate set for September 12th, the 10 candidates that qualified are prepping for the next debate in their campaigns for the Democrat presidential nomination. Many of them are more and more advocating socialist policies. Our Jennifer Wishon takes a look at what socialism that is really could mean for America.
Not too long ago, advocating for socialist policies meant certain political suicide. But today, socialism is spreading through the halls of Congress as Democrats running for president race to embrace it. For 170 years, socialism in its various forms has been tried around the world, often followed by oppression, poverty, and failure. Experts are closely monitoring this new embrace of socialism.
They do want to turn America, as crazy as it may sound, into a socialist country.
Democrats call it a bold, progressive step.
I am going to go forward with a Medicare for all single-payer program.
So for people out there who like their insurance, they don't get to keep it?
Let's eliminate all of that.
We need to be bold. One of the reasons why I signed on to the resolution and co-sponsored the resolution for the Green New Deal.
Republicans argue it's completely out of touch.
America was founded on liberty and independence and not government coercion, domination, and control. We are born free and we will stay free.
And while promises of free stuff like college tuition sound great, for many voters, the devil is in the details, and socialist policy proposals are top issues for the 6 million members of FreedomWorks.
Americans don't support it when they understand who's paying for all this. Middle America isn't socialist. Middle America, they value freedom and individual liberty. These are the things that Americans have always held dear. They're our founding principles.
Webster defines socialism as a system or society in which there's no private property, where the means of production are owned and controlled by the state, a transition between capitalism and communism. Here in Washington, there's a memorial to the victims of communism. The goddess of democracy holds a flame over an inscription to the more than 100 million victims of communism and those who love liberty. Still, this political theory resonates with young people. In its annual survey, the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation found 52% of American millennials prefer to live in a socialist or communist country. 40% prefer capitalism. Although a lot of them aren't sure what it is. The survey also found a quarter of Americans say they never learned about communism in school. Since property is owned collectively under socialism, Edwards says supporters should get ready to hand over their smartphones and kiss religious freedom goodbye.
The first thing they do is to close down the churches, close them up, and go beyond that, and as a matter of fact, to eliminate, if you will, eradicate, execute priests, pastors, sisters, nuns, people of faith.
The absence of faith is why Joshua Moravchik thinks socialism has been so deadly.
There is no moral law. There's no concept of sin. There's no concept of righteousness. The only righteousness is political.
For Moravchik, loving and losing socialism has been a life journey. He grew up longing for it, serving 5 years as national chairman of the Young People's Socialist League, the same organization counting a young Bernie Sanders as a member. But today, Moravchik warns against it. He's the author of Heaven on Earth, The Rise and Fall of Socialism. And using history as his guide, Moravchik is disappointed to see socialism rising in popularity in the U.S. Ultimately, Moravchik doesn't think America will ever become a socialist nation. But Edwards believes we're seeing the culmination of what Democrats have been striving to achieve for decades.
Whether you're talking about the New Deal, whether you're talking about the Great Society of Lyndon Johnson, whether you're talking about Barack Obama, Obamacare, and what he called bringing about a transformation of America. So they've been working at it for 90 years.
You know, candidates often tell us theirs is the most important election of our time. But in 2020, Americans may get to choose between capitalism and socialism. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, Capitol Hill.
Coming up, national championship winning college football coach Dabo Swinney talks about his purpose heading into a new season for the game.
Prophecy thousands of years old.
We were called to be a light to the world.
Being fulfilled today. Discover how. Get to life. Call 1-800-700-7000.
We consider it our duty to reach out and help others around the world.
For a gift of $10 or more, you can own the acclaimed CBN documentary To Life. Just call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com.
To treat a human, no matter what he is, which religions he has, which color he is. This is what I'm doing.
See how the people of Israel are fulfilling prophecy.
History is being written, and I want to be a part of it.
By sharing their knowledge.
In Africa, in Asia, in South America, in East Europe.
And their love.
This is how we work. This is us.
Get to life. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com.
Get Protect Your Sleep and discover how to improve the quality of your life. A free DVD or booklet from the Christian Broadcasting Network.
If you're not a great sleeper, you can do things to make yourself a great sleeper. If you're already a pretty good sleeper, you can enhance your sleep and be even better.
5 leading experts help remove the obstacles between you and restorative sleep.
When you don't get a restful night's sleep, you wake up with an accumulation of stress.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet today.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep.
You'll discover how food affects your sleep, how to put insomnia to rest, explore effective remedies for sleep apnea, and much more in Protect Your Sleep. Wake up to your best life and get Protect Your Sleep today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet.
The college football national champs Clemson Tigers back on the field last night against Georgia Tech with a strong win of 54-12. Clemson coach Dabo Swinney started the kickoff week well before the game, talking about faith and purpose. Clemson has won 3 national championships, the most recent last year against Alabama. While answering questions about his accomplishments along with his team and the coming year, he stopped to focus on what he believes is most important. He told reporters his word for this year is purpose.
I know what my purpose as a man is, and that's to glorify God, that's to be a great husband and father, and it's to use the game of football to, equip young people for life. I mean, that's just that simple. That's what my purpose as a man is. Our purpose as a program is to graduate our players, to give them the tools that they need to go be successful, to make sure they have a good experience and to win.
After the Tigers beat Bama for the championship last year, Dabo told ESPN, "For me personally, joy comes from focusing on Jesus, others, and yourself." That's wonderful to hear, isn't it? Well, that's it for this edition of CBN News Watch. Remember, you can find more news at our website at cbnnews.com. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day and weekend.